Joey, wow, you know it's a spirited debate when you can't figure out which candidate to charge with elder abuse.
Oh, for sure. And tonight, Joe Biden, he really proved once and for all that he's not on speed.
I'm co-anchor and doomsday prepper, but just for bath bombs, Kylie Weaver.
And I'm co-anchor and descendant of multiple Western stuntmen gone too soon, James Smartwood.
Tonight, President Trump employed the strategy of being so unlikable that people vote him into office so they don't have to interact with him in the real world again.
Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is, the question is,
Justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen,
Trump has an uncanny impression of a flaming tornado whose father never loved him.
Oh, for sure. One of the best. Now, Amna, was President Trump effective tonight winning over the rock-bottom divorce uncle vote?
I have to say, I think one of the biggest takeaways from all the voters I talked to afterwards was they didn't really learn anything from either of the candidates because they spent a lot of time bickering. So if you think it's effective that the president was constantly cutting off the other candidate and kind of continually and persistently interrupting him, then yeah, he was effective.
Totally agreed. I mean, I love the interruption. The only reason to let anybody talk ever, in my opinion, is if they're calling out your order number at Burger King.
Amen. I love an aggressive man. If God gives you a thought, it's your duty to blurt it out as soon as you finish swallowing your dashboard melted gummy bear hunk.
This debate really reminded me of that iconic moment in the Lincoln-Douglas debates when Lincoln looked across his podium at Douglas and said, "Will you shut up, man?"
Great perspectives all around. We turn now to the reason the 2024 debates will be held in a half-dome bone cage in the smoldering ruins of DuPont Circle, COVID-19.
How many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many of you were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye.
You would have lost far more people. Far more people.
And
you would have been.
And by the way, your own his own.
Amna, is it a risky move by Trump to say Biden would have killed more people? That could push his own base to vote for Biden.
Well, I have to say, I think what most people took away from the whole discussion about the pandemic was that the U.S. still leads the world when it comes to both infections and deaths. We just crossed the 200,000 death toll mark here in the United States. So, people who, and I think the polls actually show, most Americans agree that the president and the federal government haven't done a very good job of responding to the pandemic.
I'm like most Americans on this one. When I look at Trump, I think, I want that guy to be the one to kill me.
Now, historians have noted that you can tell a country is on its deathbed when its people physically react much like they would to spoiled milk or rotten food. So let me be the first to say...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, tonight, Donald Trump called into question the integrity of a voting system that could possibly get someone like Donald Trump elected.
We might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud. This is not going to end well. This is not going to end well.
This is not going to end well was the first Trump statement we were able to fact check as true.
I think it's important to point out that even the president's own FBI director has said that there is absolutely no evidence of widespread voter fraud. The president continues to deliver the message and to call into question whatever the election results are. But it's important to note that a number of states have already begun voting and a number of states have relied on mail-in and absentee voting for decades without widespread fraud.
I mean, I actually heard there was a ballot for Trump tied to a brick in the well, and it was like, help me! I want to vote for Trump, but Biden put me down here.
What? How are we supposed to have a fair election if she heard that thing?
My friend pulled it out eventually, and it turned into a bucket of water, Tyler.
That is a truly harrowing story there, Bonnie. Now, discussing violence at protests, Chris Wallace called on Trump to condemn white supremacists, so the president told him to be specific and name some bad ones.
Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem.
Look, the president did say stand back, stand by. Amna, did the president go far enough, or should he have added a hang loose in there?
I'll go back to what the president's own FBI director has said in recent testimony. He pointed to white supremacist aligned violence as one of the leading domestic threats to the United States right now. But really, depending on who you talk to, they took away something different from the way the president talked about it in the debate tonight. I talked to some of his supporters who said they heard him condemn white supremacy. And I've talked to Democrats who said he didn't go far enough.
Well, hold on a second. Trump is not responsible for anything but himself. I mean, if I give someone my credit card to go buy some steroids from a Turkish website, that's not a crime. I'm a good guy.
Thank you for that perspective. Now, tonight, Trump tried to win America over by showing Biden is nothing more than a decent family man who rebuts personal attacks leveled against his own children.
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
for
wasn't dishonorably
cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. Once you
None
became
of that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He
My
made
son,
a fortune.
my son,
and he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
That was pretty tough. I bet the polls are going to show a big dip in Hunter Biden's favorability there.
And okay, Chris Wallace really got riled up there. I'm sure the question of nepotism hit close to home for him.
I mean, honestly, I thought Trump could have gone more aggressive. I mean, he didn't even rollerblade around swinging a ball with spikes on it.
Well, I gotta say, it's generous of the candidates to squabble over the issues that don't matter to this election. The issues that matter are upsetting, and sometimes you just need a little pointless garbage as a palate cleanser.
You know, anybody named Hunter got issues. You know, I grew up next to this boy, Hunter McNutt. He juggled himself gay at a high school talent show.